You gotta turn on the mic, so press the top right of your screen. It says turn on. Right or left. Oh, you got it. No, it's touch screen. Hello, Brian. Good to see you.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm on time. Yeah.
You out at the dairy or are you home?
I'm at the house.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's the dairy, that's a nice bar in those cabinets.
Yeah.
How's the COVID quarantine treating you, Brian? You doing okay?
Yeah, doing good. As long as I stay away from Brandau, we're in good shape. Yeah.
If you didn't have COVID, you want to stay away from it.
He's got a secret hideout in Biola.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start this meeting. This echoes bad. Turn yours off. Is that you? Are you? Get that echo.
We probably only have one mic on.
Yeah. All right. We're calling the meeting to order. San Joaquin Valley Insurance Authority. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So for those in the room, please stand. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we'll go to item 3, roll call.
Director Brandau. Director Crocker. Director Maxig.
Present.
Director Mendez.
In the building.
Director Pacheco.
Here.
Director Sheklian.
Here.
Director Vanderpool.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to item 4, approval of the agenda. Anything, any amendments, any issues with that? Public comment? Otherwise, entertain a motion. Motion by Supervisor Sheklian, second by Supervisor Mendez. Any further discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Director Crocker.
Aye.
Director Maxig. Aye. Director Mendez.
Aye.
Director Pacheco.
Aye.
Director Sheklian. Aye. Director Vanderpool.
Aye. Motion carries, and item 5 is next. It's closed session. Council, we have need for a closed session? Yes. Very good. So we will adjourn into closed session, and we'll be back after that. All right, we're back in open session. Council, do we have any report outs? Very good. We'll now go to item 6, public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to speak on matters within our jurisdiction but not on today's agenda, please speak now. Hearing and seeing no public comments, we will move to item 7, approval of the minutes. We have a motion by Supervisor Vanderpool.
I'll second
We
it.
have a second by Supervisor Magzig. Are there any public comments? Hearing, seeing none? Oh, Mendez, whatever. Very good. The second was by Supervisor Mendez. Please call the roll.
Director Crocker. Director Maxig. Director Mendez.
Aye.
Director Pacheco.
Aye.
Director Sheklian. Director Vanderpool.
And the motion carries unanimously with Supervisor Magzig stepping out and absent for that vote. Now we'll go to item 8, receive update from Auditor Treasurer on cash flow projections.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, good morning.
Morning.
We're going to discuss cash flows, where we've been these past, since we last spoke, and where we're going to be for the remainder of the fiscal year. So we are continuing our trend in cash flows as far as what we were projecting versus what we are actually receiving and paying out. As you can see, red was what we projected, blue is how it's actually going, and it's very consistent in our models based upon expected cash inflows versus outflows. You can kind of see towards the tail end of that graph, mainly in the month of November, we are exceeding our expectations projected for that month and may continue to exceed those expectations moving forward. We did hit a new high mark in cash amount, about 28.4 million at the end of last month. And it's a good thing because this is in spite of the fact that our contribution revenue has kind of gone down a little bit, and we did forecast some high claims expenses, and we are slightly above in our claims of what we forecasted, about 6.3% above what we projected, which isn't much, but that helps offset by the fact that we are seeing a huge decrease in some of our administrative expenses, a lot of which I'm going to touch subject on when we go over the financials in the next agenda item. Right now, our cash position, we are 566,000 above what we projected. And as you can see in the next slide, we are going to continue this trend on upward cash inflows versus outflows. It's going to continue to improve. As always, we have a lot of, it's hard to project with the doubts surrounding COVID and the ongoing pandemic and these things, but all things considered, it could be a lot worse. In fact,
How has COVID testing impacted our cash flow so far?
It's kind of hard to gauge right now. It could be a contributor to how our daily claims expenses on average are high. At the beginning of the year, we took our average and we kind of added to it in anticipation of additional testing, the possibility of being a vaccine administered later on, and so forth. So even kind of an inflated forecast, we're going a little bit above that. But even despite all that, our inflows are slightly on the rise. So as long as we remain consistent from what we've been doing throughout this entire second half of 2020, I think we're still going to be in a good position. In fact, if it continues to improve, we are going to be in a great position to meet all of our current debt obligations, such as fully funding our IBNR, our stabilization reserve, and then repaying the loans to counties of Fresno and Tulare, which are due at this time next year.
I think one of the things we talked about at our last board meeting is maybe increasing some of our reserves. So I think your comments are specific to maybe just bare bones minimum reserves, correct? That doesn't take into consideration bringing some of our reserves up a little bit, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I believe this is an item that's going to come before the next meeting. We're looking at a 2-month stabilization. So we want to make sure we have enough cash on hand, enough in our liquid assets to make sure that's fully funded. And the way things are trending right now, by this time next year, we will meet all those obligations. Again, we got to keep close watch because we never know with COVID going on. You know, these things are subject to change. So we're taking it on a period by period basis. As it is right now, we are expected to finish out the end of the year just $11 shy of $1 million above what we projected. So those things are still looking good. Any questions about any of this so far?
Any other questions or comments regarding this item from board members or the public? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go to item 9, update on financials as of September 30th.
All right, thank you very much. So this is our financial position as of the 30th of September. In going into these financial statements, there's 2 key points I want to touch on that kind of go along where we've been at as far as our financial reporting and some of the things we've implemented per the suggestion of the board. Number 1, it was suggested last meeting that it was disclosed at the bottom that IBNR was omitted from these financials, where in this case, now it is included. You can see that all of our accrued liabilities have kind of been moved into the accounts payable portion, and unpaid claims and adjustment expenses is our full incurred but not reported estimate provided by Keenan. So that $7 million figure in there is IBNR. So for the first time, we're seeing IBNR's impact on our quarterly net position. The other major update is because of the fact that, when I first started doing these reports for you and the board, we were about 30 months behind in our audited financial reporting. Now that we are fully caught up, we can take full accrual data and actual data and kind of get rid of some of the estimate figures that were being used to draft these quarterly reports. So this information is based almost entirely on actual data pertaining to the first quarter of fiscal year 2021. So if these were to be audited, it would come pretty darn close to what it should be. It's as precise of data as it's going to get. And moving forward, it's going to be that because of the fact that we are now caught up in our audited reporting. The 2021 financial statements should be available to you by the time we do our February meeting. So that's really good news. Cash on hand right now, we're just under 24 million in our investment pool balances and our cash accounts. Again, this is as of the end of September, by the way. From the amount that we have in that investment pool, we earned almost 100,000 in that quarter. Brings us to total assets of 24.8 million. Liability side, as far as active payables, transmittals, and some RX and claims expenses is about 4.5 incurred in the second quarter, but applicable to the first quarter. And as I said, the IBNR was brought in, and that brings us to total liabilities of about 24.3 million. So our current net position, our true net position, including everything overall, is about 540,000. So even with that considered, we're still in a positive net position. Our assets exceed our liabilities. It's great for us to do. On the next slide, you'll see the breakdown in the receipts we received for the first quarter versus our expenditures. You see that our receipts are about 27.4 million, slightly below what we projected, and our disbursements were 29.5 million, which is slightly above what we expected. So kind of a difference of 2 million between receipts versus disbursements. But even despite that, a lot of that, as I said earlier, is because of a little bit above average claims expenses has a lot to do with that. One of the significant notes is that our administrative expenses have been significantly lower than what we forecast. On the next slide, you'll see what I mean. Like there was 1 month, because we had a lot of activity in the legal services category, we haven't seen a lot of that going on in the first quarter. I think 1 month, we only hit about a total of 1% of what we forecast to be expensed during that period. So that is significantly down from what it was last year. And that's a huge contributor into how our cash flows are improving. So for the the quarter, first quarter, our total administrative expenses were only $120,000. And the next slide will show our cash position, a breakdown throughout the first quarter where we started, which we started with 22.6 million in our balances, and with activity between both of our bank accounts and our investment pool, we ended the month of September at 25.5 million. So just above $3 million improvement from this quarter. And that is everything I have. Does anybody have any questions or anything I've covered?
Any questions, comments? Thank you, appreciate it. All good stuff. Item 10, receive consultants' medical, dental, vision experience reports through October 2020.
Good morning, Board and Dartmouth Keenan. It's good to be with you. This is an update on our experience reports. This goes through October of 2020, so an update of, I believe, 2 months. Last report was through August. We continue to build up our reserves in a good manner. To date, the self-funded plan alone, we're about $5 million to the good on the medical plan, $800,000 on the dental plan, for a total of about 5.8. For the year, we're realizing a 92.6% loss ratio on medical, 80% on dental, and 84.4 on vision, which is insured. We continue to have, if we can go to page 2. In particular, I wanted to draw your attention to the chart below that I showed, the accumulated comparison to what we had budgeted. So basically giving you the impact of COVID and other things on the plan year as well too. We had forecasted, $5.8 million accumulation on the year. Through October, that would have been 5.3 projected. We're actually at about 12.5 as to what we've accumulated. I want to show you that this chart here, there's kind of 3 different trends that you'll see. January and February, I would denote as being pre-COVID, and that's just our plan experience and money's coming in and so forth. And then you can see from March through July, in that orange line, a very steep incline. Those are the COVID months where we saw people just did not go use the services on the plan and so forth. And then if you look from August forward, both the orange and the blue line, they kind of have the same slope. And we've really only accumulated about $180,000 above what we had projected to accumulate during the last 3 months. So it kind of tells me that that sharp accumulation of COVID, that period is over for right now. As we go back into more strict restrictions on what we can and can't do, I don't think it's going to necessarily impact medical, because they are essential workers and people will be going to the dentist and to the doctors and to the hospitals as needed, based on capacity and so forth. So I don't know that we're going to do it, but I think the main thing that I'm trying to explain is that since about August, we've basically seen a settlement of that COVID spike of accumulation. All in all, it shows that we're basically about $7 million over what we had projected at this point in time. We believe we'll kind of hit that number towards the end of the year as well too. In part, some of the reasons why we're higher outside of COVID, our prescription drug rebates have been higher than we had projected. We projected 1.6. We're going to end up 2 million, if not 2.4. But that 2.4 will be over 5 quarters, so we'll have an extra quarter in this year that we might receive reimbursement for, or not reimbursement, but a rebate for. Yeah, so I'm going to, if we could go forward to the last page of the consulting report, that little graph that we always show, that one. Thank you. And there you see we budgeted the 6.5 million. We're currently at 12.5. We anticipate that November and December, as those months come to fruition, and we receive the claim experience and so forth, that we should stay on track. We're not expecting any type of huge reduction and so forth. And of course, just want to give the caveat that this is the consultant's report, and we try to coordinate with the auditor's office, but he has all the expenses where I don't have, I have budgeted expenses in my report. Any questions on the experience report?
On the accumulation comparison, and I appreciate you bringing up that the rate since middle of July or so, or towards the end of July, is roughly the same as what was projected. What are we anticipating, that there's going to be a drop off, or are we in the kind of we're in the unknown gray area where whether or not all those gains and accumulations going to, because we haven't seen a drop off, so now we're back to where it was, exactly. But we still, so we don't know if we're gonna.
Yeah, you know, and here it kind of is. It's going to be right now. That orange line for the last 3 months has kind of trended at what our projected was. So that huge spike that we're expecting, that tidal wave that's supposed to be out there, was it just this small wave, and is it shown in August through October, or are we going to see that? We'll have to see. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't even necessarily think it's going to happen in the first quarter of next year. But, and we may just see a normalization and say, well, it's kind of like, what was it when we moved to the year 2000 and everything was going to...
Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K, exactly. Could be one of those busts where it's like, that's it. But obviously we're following the claims very closely to make sure that we're on top of any type of trends and so forth for that.
Very good. Any other questions by board members or the public? Does that conclude that report, Board?
Correct.
Very good. Thank you. We'll go to item 11, receive a report on plan year 2021, stop loss reinsurance renewal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Great, thank you. So within the 2021 renewal rates, we projected at that time a 10% increase in the cost for reinsurance. And then we always go out to bid to the marketplace for reinsurance in the fourth quarter. We have the results, and the recommendation is basically that we move from Voya to Partners Reinsurance. Both of those companies are A-rated relative to the financials and so forth. And the reason why Voya wanted to have a 4.8% rate increase, and the Partners Re came in at a minus 17%. And I really want to take advantage of that. I've always felt we pay too much for reinsurance, but the market wasn't really cooperating. Now we have a vendor who kind of, I think, is cooperating with that 17% decrease in cost for reinsurance. It really sets kind of a lower rate for next year when we go out to bid again for 2022, that hopefully we can stay within that range or even drop it further. So I'm encouraging that. The one thing that the board really needs to realize, though, is both Voya and Partners Re have a premium refund clause within them. That premium refund clause basically states that if your loss ratio is at a certain level, you get part of your premium back. That won't be calculated until next year, which means right now, data through October, and it can always change, but right now we're estimating a premium refund of about $218,000 from Voya. We would be foregoing that. So we would not be able to get that premium refund back, and I think that's an important thing for you to consider. But despite that, we would be saving $322,000, and if you take into consideration that's off of the current rate, and we have projected, the estimate is that we'll be reserving about $500,000 within the rates just because we have a lower stop loss than what we built into. So the recommendation is we move to Partners Re. We stay at $450,000 reinsurance level, and we forego the Voya premium refund and the contract with Voya for the upcoming year.
Here, I've got one question. So a quick question on that. Looking at Partner Re, since how long have they been providing reinsurance in the marketplace?
I don't have the history. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, I don't have any clients personally. Keenan has a reinsurance and our underwriting division that do the marketings there. And I apologize, I didn't ask that question of how long they've been in business.
But this isn't like their first year, is what I'm getting at.
No, it's not. They would be an established reinsurer. We wouldn't do something like that.
And then also, how competitive is the reinsurance market? And you said that you have believed that we've been paying a little bit too much for reinsurance in the past, but the marketplace just didn't allow for us to make a switch and for there to be savings. So why is there this huge opportunity with Partner Re now? And the reason I ask these questions, I don't want to find ourselves in a trap where we go to Partners Re and then we find that they raise their rates significantly and there's no opportunities to go back to Voya or to other people who provide reinsurance, because I assume they can only take on so many clients. Is that correct? Based upon bondability?
Yeah, first of all, the reinsurance market, they don't just specifically handle health plans and the reinsurance. They're reinsuring everything under the sun. So, even this year's forest fires, I'm sure it affected a lot of reinsurance firms and so forth. On page 2 of the reinsurance report, if you can move to that, please. You'll see that we went out to a whole list of reinsurance carriers and even Anthem. A lot of them cited at that time that they couldn't be competitive. And a lot with the reinsurance market has to deal with where are they in their cycle. Are they looking to become profitable? Are they looking to gain market share where they're willing to buy the business? And I don't believe that it's a fluke, because if you look at the SJVIA, I think we've realized over the last 4 or 5 years about a 43% loss ratio, meaning, and the reinsurance market typically is looking for a 60 to 70% loss ratio. So we've been very favorable. And I think this carrier has recognized it. They're probably looking for market share. They came in with rates that are attractive. But the bottom line is reinsurance will be marketed year after year after year. We will do the same thing. We will go to this marketplace. And unless nobody else wants to quote, if we are stuck with a larger reinsurance renewal by Partners Re next year, and the market is uncompetitive, we go back to the market and say, hey, look, this is what we're looking at, so that they understand exactly what we need to do to place the reinsurance. But certainly I would say to take advantage, the recommendation would be to take advantage of this, and hopefully they'll see that it's sustainable with us. I'm hoping that it moves us from that 43% up to that 60, 70% where the market's supposed to be. The market has taken advantage of the SJVIA in the past. I wouldn't say taken advantage, but they were able to do it because of lack of competition. We're seeing a little bit of competition, and I would encourage participating in that.
And I would move for staff's recommendation, including switching from VOIA to partner RE.
We have a motion by Supervisor Magzig. A second by Supervisor Vanderpool. Any further comments by board members or members of the public? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Crocker,
Aye.
Director Maxig,
Aye.
Director Mendez,
Aye.
Director Pacheco,
Aye.
Director Shucklian, Director Vanderpool.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll go to item 12, approve $36,660 for annual fee reimbursement for the County of Tulare.
Thank you.
By Supervisor
You made it easy for me.
Vanderpool, and a second by Supervisor Shucklian. Staff, did you want to comment on this, or you know when you got to win? Call it good.
Hey, if we have approval, I'm good.
All right, any public comment? Call the roll.
Director Crocker,
Aye.
Director Magzig,
Aye.
Director Mendez,
Aye.
Director Pacheco,
Aye.
Director Shucklian, Director Vanderpool.
Motion carries unanimously. That was for Supervisor Pacheco. All right, item 13, approve amendment to agreement with Administrative Solutions.
Hi, Hollis McGill. We are requesting approval for a one-year extension to the ASI agreement. This is an extension off of a 3-year agreement we've had with them, and they provide COBRA and FMLA billing. We also have some minor cleanup on the amendment, removing an entity that is no longer with us and some services that are no longer provided.
Very good. Any questions or comments by board members or the public?
Move for staff's recommendation.
We have a motion by Supervisor Magzig. Second by Supervisor Vanderpool. Please call the vote.
Director Crocker,
Aye for Barry Moss.
Director Magzig,
Aye.
Director Mendez,
Aye.
Director Pacheco,
Aye.
Director Shucklian, Director Vanderpool.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Barry's a good guy. Item 14, approve amendment to agreement with My Workplace, Inc.
Good morning, Board. Larry Gomez, County of Fresno Employee Benefits. This is similar to the previous item where we are in the final year of a 3-year agreement. This one is with My Workplace, who provides benefit and enrollment services for the SJVIA. Additionally, just like the last item, we are cleaning up the agreement to remove the prior entity that was no longer in the SJVIA. And in this item, we are seeing a 10% increase in the PEPM fee for My Workplace. So with your approval, we will execute this amendment to extend the agreement for 1 more year.
Questions, comments for staff by members of the public or board? Hearing, seeing none, entertain a motion. Moved by Supervisor Shucklian. Second by Supervisor Mendez. Please call the vote.
Director Crocker,
Aye.
Director Magzig,
Aye.
Director Mendez,
Aye.
Director Pacheco,
Aye.
Director Shucklian, Director Vanderpool.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 15, approve recommendation to suspend Anthem Disease Management Program for the 2021 plan year.
Thank you, Board and Darm again. When we were preparing the 2021 renewal, there was a fee shown under the Anthem contract as a wellness fee. When I checked with staff, we were unaware of any wellness fee that we paid, so it wasn't included in the renewal workup. And so then we sent the confirmation to Anthem we sent them a confirmation letter to confirm all the conditions and so forth, and expect their signature on it to come back to us. And they said, well, are you not renewing the disease management program? And we said, well, in the past had been included in the core, and this time, he said, no, that's the wellness fee. And I was like, well, I wish they would have spelled out disease management instead of wellness, because we thought it was an add-on fee that they were trying to put on top of it. In discussion with staff, Keenan and staff have both been disappointed in the disease management program that we have in place with Anthem. I will tell you this, people are identified relative to needing disease management, but there seems to be a big stall where after the initial mail out goes to all the members that are to participate in the disease management program, there's not much of a response and there's not much movement going forward. And from Anthem's perspective, I believe they feel that they've engaged and they've done what they're supposed to do. So Keenan presented to staff several different alternatives. One, we could absorb the disease management fee, include it outside of the rates. Two, adjust the rates, which was not one that everybody wanted to do. And then staff said, why don't we just forego for 2021 the disease management program, and during that time look for a better fitting program, one that will not only just send letters out, but will follow up, try to get these people enrolled, try to get an impact. And these are the people that we're trying to reach. It's the 20% that are incurring about 80% of cost. Those are the people we're trying to target. And so we need a program that's going to be much stronger. So the recommendation from staff to the board is that we discontinue that fee for 2020, and that staff be instructed to seek a disease management program that will be able to better serve the SJVIA and its members.
Very good. Questions for Borden? Comments? Members of the public? Entertain, this is action, right? Entertain a motion. Move approval. Motion by Supervisor Sheklian.
I'll second that.
Second by Supervisor Magzig. Please call the vote.
Director Crocker?
Aye.
Director Magzig?
Aye.
Director Mendez?
Aye.
Director Pacheco?
Aye.
Director Sheklian? Director Vanderpool?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll go to item 16, receive update on SJVIA staffing and appoint SJVIA manager.
Good morning, Board. SJVIA Manager Paul Nerland. The item before you today officially appoints Hollis McGill as the next SJVIA Manager and maintains Lupe Garza as the existing interim Assistant SJVIA Manager. The SJVIA agreement states that either the HR Director or Employee Benefits Manager at Fresno County will be in this role, or the HR Director at Tulare County. I will tell you that I worked with this entity for since about 2010, worked with many board members, a number of directors here at Tulare as well, from Tim Huntley to Jeff Cardell to Rhonda Schustrom and Lupe Garza in the current role. I will tell you that working with both Hollis and Lupe, Hollis has been there from the beginning, and frankly, a lot of the best information I received was Hollis was usually 10 steps ahead of me. So I have great confidence in Hollis and Lupe as well in their great working relationship. So you're in good hands. I'll be working, in the background supporting, but frankly, they've always been ahead of me most of the time on the information that is there. So Hollis is here, Lupe's here. We could take any questions that you may have. And for Tulare board members, I'm taking on a new position at County of Fresno in the sales office effective December 28th. So thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick comment. I knew that Paul was really excited about this item because I've never seen him grab the microphone so quickly. So congratulations to Hollis. Look forward to working with you in this capacity. And you have been here since the beginning, and as have you, Paul. It's been really great working with you, and I congratulate you on your appointment to your new role. It's unfortunate that you'll have to work with Gene, but congratulations nonetheless. I do think that this entity is where it is today, and it has been along quite a roller coaster, but we've navigated it with great staff and people that are incredibly dedicated, and you have been one of those staff members, and we really do appreciate all of your work.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments by board members or the public? Congratulations to both of you on your promotions. Entertain a motion.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion by Supervisor Vanderpool,
Second.
second by Supervisor Magzig. Please call the vote.
Director Crocker,
Aye.
Director Magzig, Director Mendez,
Aye.
Director Pacheco,
Aye.
Director Sheklian, Director Vanderpool.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll go to item 17, SJVIA Director Questions, Announcements, and Activity Reports. Supervisor Magzig.
Yeah, just a comment. We've got Christmas coming up, so Merry Christmas to all, and also to our chairman. It's my understanding this is your last meeting, and I want to thank you. I've appreciated your thoroughness on this board, always coming prepared and asking very pointed and appropriate questions. So I really appreciate that about you, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Any other director comments, questions?
I just wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season. I know this is very different this year, but I do hope that we're all able to enjoy family and the spirit of the season in the best ways possible and remain healthy and keep our planned costs low here.
Very good. All right, seeing and hearing no additional questions, announcements, or activity reports, this meeting is adjourned. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.